Hello everybody, how are you all doing today? It's beautiful, absolutely gorgeous today. Just looking at the mountains as I drive into Brodick on a mission. The mountains are so pretty. But I'm turning into the Co-op car park, which is our supermarket in Brodick. And I'm on a mission to get toilet rolls. Isn't that mental? On a normal week that wouldn't be a problem, but for some reason the world has decided that they should be bulk buying toilet roll, and so apparently there's none available and we're down to our last one at home. We haven't bulk bought, we've just bought normal amounts, so we're running out. Let's go and see what we can find. So it turns out we're good. I'm going to get this bad boy right here. Well, that was an interesting shopping trip. I was expecting the worst. And actually the shelves were pretty full. So I think perhaps being on an island makes things a bit different. Well, there's no doubt about it. Life on an island is different in all sorts of ways. But yeah, mission accomplished. 186 quid. So that's my usual kind of weekly shop. Now I've got the sun in my eyes, so conditions are not great for filming. However, I'm going to continue because I'd like to recommend to you all a podcast that I listened to this morning. It's one of my favourites. It's called Roderick on the Line with John Roderick and Merlin Mann. Now these are two personalities whose content I've been following for over 12 years, because I remember watching the very first episode of the Merlin Mann show where he interviewed John Roderick in his garden, and I was still in Luxembourg then, and I've been on Arran for 12 years, so at least 12 years I've been following the content of those two creators. And on the most recent episode they spoke about what it was like for John, having just come back from the Jonathan Colton cruise during the COVID-19 week that we've just had. So when he left a week ago, things were very different from what they were when he got back a week later. And it's interesting just to see what it's like for someone who was away on a ship and offline for most of it. So coming back to the news a week later, having missed a week's worth of news, it just kind of puts it into contrast just how much has changed in that week. It's insane. The world's insane while I'm drinking champagne and we're living in black rain, as Ice-T so eloquently put it in Body Count back in the 90s. Yes, it's been a crazy week. Today is potentially the last day of my daughter's attending Arran High School. The schools close after today. I know they closed a week ago in America, at least according to what I understand from this morning's podcast that I just recommended. The schools in Scotland close today, and they may not open again until August, at the end of the summer holidays. Traditionally it's round about the 18th of August. So obviously they've got exams coming up. My daughter did her practical HE exam yesterday, so she brought home some cake and some bonbons and some other dishes that she'd cooked for her HE, home economics practical. And I don't know what's going to happen with the other exams, whether they'll just put the kids through on their prelim results, or whether they'll actually, I mean, they don't know, so obviously I don't know. Nobody knows much of anything right now, and that's one of the interesting things about what's happening right now, is that it's unprecedented. So everyone's just fumbling along and sharing misinformation and thinking that they're sharing good information, and not knowing what's good information, what isn't good information. It's just nuts. Like, for example, yesterday we had a conversation with a girl that we know who's a prison officer, and she was telling us some of the things that are going on, what might happen when the courts close down, what's going to happen with prisoners that are on remand. There's just so many things that we haven't thought of, and it's insane. It's crazy. But what's interesting for me is that I'm feeling remarkably calm. Now, I'm trying to switch off the news. I'm not looking at my Facebook feed other than to look at what Crofters is doing, because that involves my work. But I'm trying to just unplug, you know. I'm trying to connect with people online, over the phone or whatever it might be, and you know, I think that humanity is going to show up. I think once everyone gets the toilet paper sorted out, I think humanity is going to show up in a big way, and it feels almost like a reset. You know, kind of in biblical terms, in some ways. You know, with the floods and all that. It feels like when we come out of this, things are going to be different. Things are going to be better, hopefully. It's taken my mind off of the daily stress of the rat race. You know what I mean? It's showing me that love and compassion and humanity, empathy, these are qualities that have been lacking in my life, if I'm honest. You know, I do try to live a spiritual life. I do try to listen to my higher power, and I realise that I fail a lot of the time to do that effectively. And I feel like this situation that we're going through right now is going to help me, and it's going to help everyone, I think, to switch off to the fake news, to the, I don't know, I just think it's going to make people connect on a more human level, more than we have been during the past, I don't know, 10, 15, 20 years. We'll see, you know, I could be wrong, but I do feel that it's, at least for me anyway, it's helping me to feel some compassion. So that's me for today, folks. That's my in the car recording. I believe it's the first time I've recorded in this car, so I'm hoping that the audio will come through a bit better than it did in the old car, because the old car was terribly noisy. We got rid of that a month or so ago, and I'm now driving a Subaru Outback 2014 model, and it's the best car I've ever had. I absolutely love this car. So yeah, there we go. Bye for now, folks. I hope you're all staying healthy, staying safe, and I'll talk to you all again very soon. Bye for now.